Ever since I started talking about video games on YouTube, the main thing that I was hoping is that one day we would announce that we're getting Kingdom Hearts 4. And that announcement came up earlier this week where I woke up and I saw, holy shit, I did not expect to wake up to a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer announcement. Now, of course, the game is in early development, moving over to Unreal Engine 5, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What I think will be in this game, or in a sense, what the hell is going on in this trailer. What I am here to talk about is Kingdom Hearts 4 and what worlds I want to see. And specifically, a couple of these I actually do think we will honestly get some shape and form of it. But even with that, I gotta hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, so leave a comment. Are you massive fans of Kingdom Hearts? Because if you are, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because I am definitely going to be doing a lot more Kingdom Hearts videos leading up to the release of this. So we got 6 years of Kingdom Hearts stuff to talk about, as well as we just love talking games over here. So if you are also a major fan of gaming, make sure to also hit that like and subscribe button, so we can talk more gaming over here on a daily basis. Other than that, it's time to dive in and give you guys my top 10 worlds that I hope to see in Kingdom Hearts 4. This is a background context. I love Kingdom Hearts, so this is a list I've been waiting to do for a while. Down at my number 10 is Marvel. I actually think that we will specifically see the New York version as well as Thor's world of Asgard within Kingdom Hearts 4. I feel like both these worlds really much symbolize what we were getting. Now, originally before I had seen this trailer, if you just asked me to kind of go off my head and guess a Marvel world, I probably would have just said Asgard, but after seeing that we are getting a version of Tokyo inside Kingdom Hearts 4, I think it really much makes sense to bring in New York as well, giving us a new adaptation and a new world to kind of explore, because we did get San Francisco in the last Kingdom Hearts game, which was a ton of fun, and I wanted more of the Big Hero 6 crew, but I think specifically, maybe they'll have kind of two different versions of it, where you can kind of transport up to Asgard towards the end of it. I honestly think there was two things that I really had specific thoughts about this. There's two most iconic Avengers scenes that I really would wish to see Sora in the middle of with Donald and Goofy, and that is, of course, the original Avengers scene where they're wiping around, going around in a circle, and you see all the Avengers lined up. Can you imagine having Sora, Donald, and Goofy there instead? I mean, count me in. Well, as I mentioned, if it's towards the end of the battle of Avengers Endgame, all the heroes are lining up, and Sora also lines up, and he's right next to Cap, where Cap goes, "Avengers, assemble." That would be amazing to see Sora running with them and actually getting into that giant fight, and really bringing a new avenue, just in the same sense that they kind of did with the Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, as the way that they did the ship battles. I thought that was quite unique. There's so many different unique elements that you could bring into the Marvel world, and specifically, I used to be against this, but honest to God, the more and more I play Kingdom Hearts, the more and more I dive in. I really love what they did with the Pirates of the Caribbean worlds, and I would love to see what they could do with Marvel. Moving into my number 9 is Princess and the Frog. Now, this is I think one of the most underrated Disney films out there. The last 2D animation film that they had created, and the way that they really much bring about Louisiana, the Bayou, and all sorts of things like that is such a magical area for me. And for me, one of the things that I think about this movie that does so well is, of course, world building. This kind of voodoo doctor that we have, I think, would match so perfectly with the elements of the Heartless, and as well as Organization 13 in whatever capacity they might be in here, and maybe even some new villains that we might see along the way. As well, I never thought that we got enough of a conclusion to Maleficent's storyline in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I actually feel deep down that she probably will be one of the most main antagonists of this game. And again, I could be wrong. None of us actually know the truth of what's going to happen in this game, but if she is in here, I feel like Princess and the Frog and bringing in the Doctor to be one of the main villains in there would be quite an awesome surprise. Yeah, my number 8 is a newer film, but it is one that many people are loving, and that is Encanto. Now, for me, I actually think Encanto is going to be more of a summon than an actual world to go to, but either or, whatever it decides to do, I think the family of Encanto really much would match so well with the world of Kingdom Hearts and what has been built up about the darkness of this family, especially from what we saw in the movie of how the family was losing their powers. We could easily tie that in and say it's the Heartless, the Soulless, whatever you want to say it could be, or maybe even, again, the new villain. Something's going along in this house, and it's up to Sora, Donald, and Goofy to help them magical family get their magic back, and of course, their powers. And it would be pretty cool to see Sora maybe interact and get his own powers of a sense from this family. There's a lot of cool things in there, and I think Encanto's whole entire theme of family would really match Kingdom Hearts well. We have Zootopia. Now, I usually would say, oh, maybe they'll bring back Lion King, but I think if they are going to bring into an animal world, why not bring in Zootopia, a film that made $1 billion, and it is shocking to me that we never got a sequel to. Zootopia is one of the most underrated Disney films. I feel like when people talk about their favorites, it's always Moana or Big Hero 6, but no one really mentions Zootopia, which I think is one of the most clever satires that has been created in such a while. And I think the cool thing about Zootopia is not just the world and how expansive it is, but you could honestly kind of make a mystery out of this entire world, and something that Donald, Goofy, and Sora must solve with our two main characters. And I think that would be a really unique vibe to kind of bring into Disney and in general the Kingdom Hearts world. Next, we have Star Wars. Now, I know a lot of people are already predicting that Endor and an AT-ST was shown in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, which I'm actually like very much on board for that. I think that is Endor. It really much, like, the second I saw the Force, I'm like, this is the moon of Endor. Like, no way, shape, and form you're not. You're just missing the Ewoks and some Jedis and stormtroopers running around getting clobbered by the rebels. And for me, I want it. I want Endor. I want this Star Wars world to be a part of it. I was hoping that Kingdom Hearts 3 would have an element of it, but especially with Star Wars being such a big thing, I actually think we will see it in here. I think we'll see Sora team up with Luke Skywalker, defeat Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, but I want to even go a step further. I don't think we're just going to get Endor and kind of the original trilogy. I actually believe we're going to get Mandalorian and Grogu as well. This is like one of the only worlds that I actually specifically think will happen in Kingdom Hearts 4. Something that Data mined a while ago, that they wanted to do a Star Wars world in one of the older Kingdom Hearts games, but really could never get it down. I think they're going to find it out here with the graphical power of what they're already doing from what we saw in that trailer. I can't imagine them not touching on Star Wars. But again, let me know down below what you guys want to see. I think there's so many different eras of Star Wars I'd love for them to go through. Maybe they touch on the world out of worlds, the whole time travel element, and maybe you go through different films. Maybe you go through Revenge of the Sith. Maybe then you go through Return of the Jedi. Maybe even jump into some of the sequel trilogy. Or maybe in general, you just touch in with the Mandalorian and Grogu and help them out take out a bounty. I think that would be pretty cool. On a side note, I really hope that Kingdom Hearts 4 has a lot more stuff behind the scenes to do. I always felt like the Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of lacked in that, where Kingdom Hearts 2 had the amazing Sephiroth battle. Bring that back, please. And my top 5 is Inside Out. I actually think this is one that could be quite unique, and I went back and forth if I wanted to include this or Soul. But as I looked at Soul, you know, a lot of that film does take place in New York, and a lot of it takes place in the Soul world. In Inside Out, it's a creative, unique, bubbly world that, again, as much as I wanted to say, let's get Toy Story again in here, we've never gotten Inside Out yet. And I think for me, it would be really cool, unique. Say you have to go inside Mickey's mind and head, or a different Disney character that we all know and love, and we have to save them from the darkness. And the only way we can do is touching on their feelings and helping joy, sadness, disgust, anger, anxiety, all of them, helping them figure out where is the problem coming from. And I think there is a lot of great elements in there to bring about, especially within a Kingdom Hearts game. Yeah, and I just think the locale, the creation of all that will be stunning. Next, we have Moana, one of the best adventure movies that Disney has made in quite a while, and I really put this one in here because, again, I don't think we're going to get a Pirates of the Caribbean world, sadly, but I do think we need something that adventures into the water of it all, and Moana is that beautiful, tranquilic, all type of land, and imagine teaming up with Moana and Maui themselves while going on an adventure to stop the darkness. I mean, if you really look at a lot of these Disney movies, it's all about darkness and destruction, and what does Kingdom Hearts have? Darkness and destruction. I really think Moana is actually going to be a grand world, especially, again, with everything that you can do with all the islands, the locales. You can really make this a little bit of an open world sequence, something that I feel like the last Pirates of the Caribbean world tried to do. As much as I would love to see Captain Jack Sparrow come back, I just sadly don't see it happening, but I think if you're going to infuse something of a water kind of world, you're going to get Moana. Starting at my top 3, we have Coco, the Land of the Dead. This is a world that, imagine if one of the main characters in Kingdom Hearts dies. Oh my god. And there's no way of bringing them back, but there is something that we need to know from them, and the the only way to go is into the land of the dead, to team up with Coco and everyone in that world and really much adventure into there. First off, it would be beautiful, it'd be stunning, it would be something unlike anything that I'd ever seen in a Kingdom Hearts game before, or in general some gaming, but it would be something that Square Enix would be able to develop in such a stylistic way, as well as the costumes for your character could really match with something of Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think again is something that was missing with the horror element in the last game. Adding in there, I think it would add some stakes as well to how there has to be a time limit or something of this nature before they get stuck there. There's so much into Coco that I think you can bring to life in a Kingdom Hearts world, and I hope to see it there. Now guys, we have two more to talk about, and at my number 2 we have Raya and the Last Dragon. I loved Raya and the Last Dragon. I thought this was a fantastic movie, one that blew my socks off, and it is one that's kind of reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender in a lot of different avenues, but it is one that I want to see fully developed in a Kingdom Hearts world. Again, a sprawling world, kind of reminded me of elements of Mulan, and Mulan was one of my favorite worlds back in Kingdom Hearts 2. You can easily bring that element in here, and it would be such a blast to adventure out in there and see all the different locales, help the world, and restore it to greatness. Again, there's some darkness in here, and I think Raya would really fit well into the Kingdom Hearts world and would just be badass to see. At my number 1, this is a personal pick and one that probably will not happen, but it is one that I want to happen, and that is Treasure Planet. I think this is probably one of the most underrated Disney films that has ever been created, right next to Atlantis, which I almost put Atlantis on here, but I don't know. I feel like some people will kind of go back and forth with what they want on here, and some people will definitely want Atlantis. Out of every world, I think Treasure Planet has such an amazing, diverse set of characters, different worlds that you can go to, different planets, and the world is so big and bulk, you can really much flesh it out. You can kind of have a mix, again, of Pirates of the Caribbean, Peter Pan, and all sorts of these different things, but adding in a sci-fi element that I think would add greatness. Imagine you're just traveling through in your gummy ship, and all of a sudden you run into this giant pirate ship, and it's the Treasure Planet crew. You jump on board, and you go about, and you're trying to find the treasure, but also in that treasure on that planet is something special that you are needing to get to that next avenue of what Sora needs to do to defeat the darkness. There's again so many greatness and great elements into here that I'm very excited to see, and I think Treasure Planet just needs some shining light. And I think what I've loved really much in some of the older Kingdom Hearts games is how they touch on certain things like that. Again, there are many worlds that I will and want to see come back, which I will probably do a video on that, and if you do want to see that, let me know down below. But that is my video. Those are the top 10 worlds that I want to see in Kingdom Hearts. Let me know down below what your guys' thoughts are. These worlds that you want to see, do you agree with these? No? Do you not? Let me know down below, and thank you so much again for watching this. If you're new here, well, hit that like and subscribe button, because we love talking video games over here on a daily basis, and we hope to get more content out very soon. So, of course, until next time, stay classy and keep playing video games.